What's good, y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of Persona 5 the animation. And this episode was amazing. I really loved this episode. Now, I will admit, art animation was I would say animation overall was fine. The art, on the other hand, I would say overall was pretty good, which we expect from A1. But there were a couple times where I'm like, ooh. Yeah, that's straight up bad. Yeah, like, Anyway, and so this episode was actually predominantly focused, or really was only focused on the Culture Festival, with a little bit of the, within like a touching upon another character's, one of the other side characters' confidences, or at least introducing a side character that, was pretty, that had a confidant. His confidant was actually really cool. It was the politician guy. I will say, I'll talk more about it when we get to that part of the episode, but I'll tell you right now, guys, his Japanese voice, I don't like it. His dub voice is a lot better, in my personal, humble opinion. Anyway, so let's begin with this week's episode of P5. So it starts off, of course, we got the Culture Festival. Kira looks at like this little, like, I guess, I don't know, what's the word? Pamphlet or ad for the, like, it says Culture Festival on, and then, Kira, Ryuji and, come up and they're like, hey, and then they're like talking about the Culture Festival, how it's like, coming up next week, and they're wondering like, hey, what isn't it weird it's on weekdays? And they're like, it's probably just to keep the media off our backs with the whole school-wide interrogation or investigation that's going down. And then we get over to the bailout where everyone's counting up the votes on who they want to be the special guest at the Culture Festival. And to nobody's surprise, it was Akechi. And I'll tell you guys this right now. Anime only, this is actually when Akechi actually becomes really relevant to the story. Like you'll definitely see a lot more of them. It's not just everyone shoving it down. So this is actually when Akechi was actually relevant to the story. Granted, the anime they're like Akechi, we'll shove him down your fucking throats. I mean, like I said, I like Akechi. He's cool, but I wish they didn't shove him in there as much as they did, because you don't need Akechi in every episode. P5 can do pretty good without Akechi. Anyway, and so they're like, they kind of everyone gets, Akechi, Goro, Akechi-kun. I'm like, nobody voted for Kenny Omega, Shinsuke Nakamura, the Young Bucks, Kosei Bushi, or anybody on the Bullet Club? Really, nobody? No Bullet Club fans here at Shuji Academy. There are no Bullet Club fans here. Really. I mean, listen to the anime, there's probably like licensing issues and all that shit. I'm just like, come on now, can't one of y'all mention I'm just saying, like, in the show I've just had like, like, come on, should be said ever, it's like somebody said Kenny Omega or something. Anyway, which as you guys know, I started watching New Japan. I've actually gotten started watching NXT as well. I'm thinking NXT, it's alright so far. But I also I've watched the Kenny Omega versus Shota Ibushi match that happened at the G1, the second to last day. There were so many days in the G1 that I am just like, you know what, I'm not gonna watch all this. I'm just gonna skip to like the second last day because I saw on the thumbnail on this website where I watch all my wrestling at, where I watch my pay-per-views and everything, I had like, Kota Ibushi versus Kenny Omega, so I had to watch them because those are like my top two guys actually like in New Japan, like the only two guys I like in New Japan. So far, that could change. It's like, the longer I watch New Japan. The match itself, fucking phenomenal. It was great. Anyway, back to the episode at hand. So, and they're asking like, and then you see Ryuji. He's just chilling there on his phone. He ain't helping the guys. They're over here sorting through all this shit. Grant, you didn't have a story. You would be like, okay, Akechi. Okay, everyone wants Akechi. He's like, nah, man. It's like, I'm gathering info. Also talked about how Mishima is doing a pretty good job working hard on the fan side, and that they're initially reluctant to invite Akechi just because he's been a detective. They don't want to bring any unwanted attention to themselves and draw suspicions on themselves for being the fans of thieves. So they're like, should we really invite him? Should we maybe invite Kenny Omega or something? I don't know why I keep going to Kenny Omega. Anyway. So then we see Kira still working at the flower shop. We got this elderly woman. She's talking about the weather and how Kira's a really good worker. He's a hard worker. We then get back to Kira's place where Makoto decides that she is indeed going to invite Akechi to the cultural festival just to try and get, and everyone else was like, whoa, I thought you said it was a bad idea. We would bring it would be very risky. But she said let's see if we can try to get some information out since we can't rely outside for that anymore. And so then Ryuji's like, wait, but how are we gonna contact? We don't got his info, right? And then we got Besco Futaba. I love Futaba. You guys know how much I love Futaba. I say the anime has done a better job with Futaba than even the game did. And that's sensible, because she was amazing in the game, but I say she's even better in the anime. That's just my humble opinion from yours truly. And I like, and of course now they're working their new and Futaba, now that when we change seasons, it's now back to winterish time. Futaba's now rocking her normal outfit, no longer the tank top. If you ask me, I also kind of like the tank top outfit a little more, just because I like how she has the fanny pack and her tank top is like Tetris on it. Her normal outfit is pretty cool, but I don't know. There's something about the tank top that I actually kind of like. But I'd say I like her in-house outfit the best. When she has the long sleeves and everything. I kind of wish I don't know if she wears different headphones though. When she's at home, she rocks green ones, but then when she's out and about, she rocks black and red ones. I don't know why she wears different headphones. I don't know if she just wears the same ones. Anyway, she says, we got all the prosecutor's data from, we got size, data off her computer. So finding Kira's, or Akechi, I should say, number should be pretty easy. They're like, and my man Ryuji's like, you blow me away. Yeah, she does, my man. And so we get back to school. We find out that the results for I forget what was it, the midterms, I think. For the midterms, and Akechi, our boy Kira comes in there at 7, and look how Kira's just like, yeah, I like that. And then we should get back. We then get to class. People are talking about Akechi, about inviting him and all that shit. And then we have the teacher be like, "Hey, Akira, what are you doing? What are you looking at? Is this your attitude at school?" And then he throws the chalk, the piece of chalk he was using right at Akira, and our man Akira just dodges it. And I love the way how he dodges it, because in the game this happened too, where I believe it was your proficiency. If it was high enough and the teacher threw a chalk, you could actually dodge it and it looks super cool. But the anime it's so much better where he kind of it looks like he's got ultra instincts over there with the way he dodges, because it looks we see the chalk going into at super speed and Kira just dodges it and it's all in slow motion. It's like Max Payne or Matrix bullet time up in there. It was pretty cool. I love how the anime did that. I'm glad they put that in there. Then the guy sitting behind Kira's like, what the hell? And Aon kind of just lightly chuckles to it, and so then Kira gets back to his place where he finds Akechi. And then him and Akira start playing a game of chess. And on the TV we got this dude, just talking about bitching about the family. He's like, oh, they're a menace to society and all that shit. And so actually Akira and Akechi are having their game rematch of chess. They of course talk about the Phantom Thieves and talk about the recent stuff with the murder of Okumura. And Akechi actually comes up with the conclusion, hypothesis, whatever you want to call it, that actually the Phantom Thieves were not behind that one. We're not behind the actual murders because they are just about of course changing hearts. They not really have the MO for straight up killing people. And so the game chats, Akechi wins, but Akechi gives Kira his due props. Says you're improving a little bit since our last match. You find a good teacher, and he says a good shogi teacher, of course, referencing to what was her name? Hifumi? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Hifumi. Referencing Hifumi, which we actually saw last week. It was nice seeing Hifumi actually make her appearance. She had 3 cameos beforehand, but then she finally made her true appearance last week. So that was cool to see her. And especially when she went the whole shogi thing, that when it's during Yu-Gi-Oh. Anyway, and so then we get to the cultural festival. Everyone's and I love how Futaba is hiding behind Odd, she's just hiding, lightly peeking out of her back. It warms this cold nerd's heart. Like I said, guys, I love Futaba. I can never get enough of her. And so they talk about they wonder if that was definitely more packed than it was last year, and of course because Akechi's a guest here. And they want to like wear cosplay clothing, and Makoto's like they probably are. So Morgana's like be careful what you guys are discussing, and so then Makoto tells like hey everyone, let's have fun, let's act natural, act normal, not anxious, so we don't draw suspicion. But let's kind of have Futaba since she's still kind of a shut-in. Still, she still hasn't gotten used to mingling with society yet. So she's like, what's normal? I love Futaba. And then, you got the Kira tells Haru, let's have fun. And of course, we get this little montage of like the cultural festival. It's still, which, whatever. I don't think it's that, yeah. We actually see that, Futaba's doing this little VR thing, that was nice. Of course, you got Yusuke over there looking at the art. And then we find, this was probably the highlight of the episode for me. We see Akira. We see Akira and Ryuji. They find this haunted house, and then Akira. And then we see this person wearing a mask, and then Akira sneaks up behind her. I'm assuming it's a woman, and grabs her mask and he says, "I'll unmask you behind the like." That starts are playing, and then Ryuji comes in there, slaps the back of his head, being like, "What the hell are you doing?" It's a habit. That was hilarious. How Akira just went in there like phantomly be like, I'll reveal your true form. That had me dying when I saw that. That just had me rolling. And so we end up seeing that we also find there's a maid cafe because we actually see Kawakami, with maybe like welcome to like Maid Takoyami or whatever. She's like, man, it's good to be young. Until they get in there, they talk about how they're like, Ryuji's like, yeah, I can't believe we got maids here. Which, me personally, guys, I'm not really into the maid thing. That's like the one part of otaku culture that I just don't understand. Like, why do y'all like maids? What's so great about maids? Because like, I feel like if I went to a maid cafe, I would literally try my best not to cringe. Because I feel like I'd be cringe. Because I find that too cringy for me. Tell me what you guys think. Do you guys like maid cafes? If so, why? Because I actually want to know why. If you guys are into and that kind of stuff, why? Because I personally don't understand it. I don't understand why people like that sort of thing. But that's just my personal opinion. Anyway, and so, that she comes in there with the takoyami. It's pronounced takoyami, right? I'm pretty sure it is. And they're like, here you go, right off the grill. And Futaba, all day, and they're calling her out on a bullshit and be like, I could totally hear the microwave. I love Futaba. And so they go on about how this is like Roshin takoyami, where like one of them is different and like it's like spicier or whatever. It's obviously the one that's a different color. They pick up on that immediately. Akechi shows up, and everyone's like, "Hey, Akechi, what are you doing here?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm just here exploring, getting my bearings, because of course he has a presentation thing tomorrow." And so he's like, "Oh man, I'm starving. You guys might have one." And he grabs a spicy one, puts it in another one. Oh god, he's like, So it looks like, He's like, and like everyone's like, "Hey, Akechi, you good?" He's like, "Yeah, I just love spicy food. Just love it. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm gonna go home." And they just runs out of there, like he just like runs out of there. I guess the man can't take his spicy food. So then when the next thing happens, they get to the whole presentation for Akechi. Makoto introduced this thing about Akechi shows up on stage and all the fangirls losers and like, ah, it's Akechi! Oh my god! I think I just wet myself. So yeah, Joe asks about Tentem, and he's about to start speaking about what he does at Tentem. Some dude's like, "Hey, do you think the Phantom Thieves off the principal? I heard you're here to investigate. Is that true?" And then he answers that like, "No, I'm just here because I was invited. I'm not really here. I'm not here for any investigation." And then he goes on to say about stuff with Okuma, but he told Akira earlier that he doesn't think the Phantom Thieves did kill him. He can't imagine the Phantom Thieves did kill Okuma or kill anyone because they don't have the motive for it. And so then he's like, and then he goes on about how he has come to his own conclusions on who he thinks the Phantom Thieves are. And he's like, nobody's gonna want to ask me who they are. And then everyone's, and of course our friends just all start sweating. They're like, fuck, shit, we're screwed, fuck. And so Makoto's like, so who do you think they are? I'll give her props for actually asking questions. I would have been like, I'd say nothing. If I was there, I would have said that. I probably would have. Although granted, it might have actually looked even more suspicious if I didn't say anything. Anyway, he's about to reveal who they are. Where then his phone starts ringing. He's like, sorry, I gotta take this, guys. Can we take a short break? He's like, yeah. And so then she comes to Makoto being like, am I working in a room? He's like, oh yeah, the faculty P office. By the way, can you come in there with your friends? I got something I gotta show you. And so Akira and of course the rest of the guys go meet up at Ketchi, where of course we saw this a few weeks back when he came back with the model kit, which was like Okumura's treasure. I don't even mention that in the last video. His model kit because actually he really wanted that like spaceship model kit, but his parents didn't have the money for it. So yeah, so now there's that. And he shows them these pictures of when they were coming, I believe, out of the metaverse after they took care of Okumura before. I forget exactly from the photos they showed, but anyway, it was showing that they were coming in or out the metaverse. And Akira's like, "Oh, those are Photoshop, those are fake." He's like, "I got video too, dude." And they're like, let's not dwell on trivial matters of whether or not this is legit or not. And so they're like, and so then he comes up with the agreement. He also talks about how he actually he went over to the metaverse and met the Black Math. He of course fighted for his life. Where then he awoke into his persona. So yeah, he's awakened to his persona and everything, and he wants to ask the Phantoms to join, to work together with the Phantoms to steal Sai's heart because he discovers she has a palace. And we also see a little bit of her where she's like, I think she's running time on the investigation. Anyway, but yeah, she's really starting, starting to get a little obsessed over the whole Phantom case, and where Kira straight up says that, not Kira, Akaji says straight up that he wouldn't put it past Sai to, fabricate evidence to get that verdict, to get the guilty on who the Phantom Thieves are and all that good shit. And so, usually, you're blackmailing us. It's like, you're blackmailing. I don't care. Whatever. That's what you call it. Whatever. And so then he makes the deal. So he says, you join me. I won't tell anyone. If you join me, I won't tell anyone. I'll turn the other cheek, turn a blind eye to, your actions, and, we're good. And so they ask, what if we refuse? He's like, oh, I'm going to leak this shit. Straight up, I'm just going to leak it to the world, and then y'all are fucked. Especially you, Akira, because I know you got a record. So, yeah. And they're like, no, don't worry, I don't expect you guys to respond immediately. Tell me, take your time, tell me when you're ready. And so then he tells her, and then Akechi sees right through Makoto. He says, oh, you guys mind if I just leave? Because I know the only reason you invited me here was because you wanted to get info out of me. And he's like, damn, he's good. Well, he's like, well, I am a detective. That's kind of my job. Which is true. And so, yeah, sure. He tells, some emergency went up at work, so it's time, so he takes his leave. So then, a little bit of time, we actually see the politician again, where he says, I'm not a politician anymore. I just make speeches by the station, come, listen in if you feel like it. Which I really hope we do see his confidant, because his confidant was actually pretty cool. I actually really liked this confidant, from what I remember in the game. It was pretty cool, in my personal opinion, anyway. So, we get that, Makoto decides to, call up Akechi. He tells, what we're in, we'll make the deal. So, but we want to hear more details. So, they meet up at LeBlanc, where they, of course, discuss the details and a little bit more about their plans. And so Akechi goes on about the plan, saying, we're going that, Sai hasn't been really working, hasn't been level headed recently, she has been making some questionable decisions. And, and Futaro's like, oh, come on, man, the cops ain't got shit on us, so we good. And he's like, not necessarily. I mean, their plans are still moving, up according to plan, so they may not have nothing on you yet, but they'll probably find something on y'all. Anyway, So he goes on about his plan about, taking down Kara Size hard, as not only is a way, because, he goes on about how the man in the black mask could come after her because of, because, she's the one investigating the Phantom Thieves and all that. So there's that. And he also says he wants to use it as a way to, like, threaten the police as being like, hey, don't fuck with us, alright? Don't fuck with us, And so that hopefully could get them off their backs. He also talks about how they want to I guess erase all suspicions on these guys being members of the Phantom Thieves. He wants them to disband after the mission, just so that clears up everything else, and all that good stuff. And so they all agree about the plan. And there's one thing I got to Akechi goes on about how what is his drive for justice is actually the sickening adult. And his behavior is he gives me my sense of justice. Which, by the way, that line right there carries some major weight for something that happens later on. I won't say any more because I don't want to spoil you anime onlys, but just saying that holds some major weight. Yeah, but. And so they agree, and then actually when they agree, and they're like, yeah, all right, let's kick some ass. You got the original P5 OP, for the song that was used for the OP for the game. They play the instrumentals of it, so that was actually pretty cool to hear that actually in the anime. And yeah, that's where the episode ends. And we also get this little part with Igor and everyone saying your rehabilitation is near completion. I look forward to seeing what you have left to offer. And yeah, so overall, like I said before, I really enjoyed this episode. I really enjoyed this episode. I really loved this episode. This episode was really damn good. The comedy bits with the cultural festival was amazing. The art animation was iffy at best, but I'd say overall it was decent. And yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. We're gonna see Sai's Palace, Akechi's Persona, all that good shit. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. So my final verdict for this week's episode is a 9 out of 10. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you're feeling good. Link to the drops below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.
She's